Hey guys, I had to make this video a few times because I think my points were can be construed very negatively, but it's meant to be positive. So first of all, Andrew Yang did fantastic. He did much better than anyone would expect. He outlasted people like Kamala Harris. He outlasted a lot of politicians who do know how to play this game. But the truth behind why he failed comes down to this terminology that I have used and I've described called fluff. And fluff is you put the expectation too high. Andrew Yang actually did relatively well in Iowa, but the marketing campaign said, hey, we're going to shock everyone. Right? Remember, shock, peak at the right time. Basically, you can read the titles off any Andrew Yang YouTuber, and they will say, Andrew Yang peaking in Iowa at the right time. He actually did very good. He did great in Iowa. But the problem was the expectations were set so high that it looked bad, right? When you want to shock everyone and win Iowa, instead of managing the expectations for the long run. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? I hope to get 5%. I hope we get one delegate. But people were expecting 10 delegates. They were expecting to win. And what happened was people were upset and they stopped donating because they were fed, hey, we're going to win Iowa. And then to see 5%, they were like, oh, that's really bad. But in fact, that's really good. That's really, really good, guys. I've managed these campaigns before, and I can tell you, with everything working against Andrew Yang, it's amazing what he did in Iowa. Even though I will criticize him into oblivion, he's a non-politician. I mean, to the point that, let me remind you, this is how bad the team around him was, and yet he did so well. The team around him couldn't even read simple directions in Ohio to be on the ballot. This is not complicated. It was implemented 10 years ago. And every other candidate, no matter who they were, even Bloomberg, who doesn't even give a blank, was able to get on the ballot of Ohio because somebody, maybe him or his team, figured it out. But the fact that no one in Andrew Yang's team figured out that, hey, we need a line, just a sentence on the top of our signature collection sheets, and they went out and collected 3 times as many signatures as they needed, but no one looked at Bloomberg's or Mayor Pete. No one even looked at any competitors, and you're out there collecting signatures along with them. So for all those canvassers, there's a major problem. The fact that these canvassers did not collect the signatures in the proper and legal way. That's not on Andrew, that's on his team. Someone on his team, campaign team, that mistake should never be made. If the campaign team or the advertising team or somebody would have caught that mistake 100 out of 100 times if they had the experience, but no one did. So the expectations were just massive for this guy who no one knew 2 years ago. So it had the marketing campaign managed expectations, I believe he would still be in the caucuses. He would still be in the debate. He might even have a delegate or two. 5% is really good. And in New Hampshire, right now, he's ranked 8. There's 59% in. I just showed you the graph. That's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's also not bad. There are plenty of other candidates who do this for a living, like Tosi, which many of you like, and he beat them. It's good to be optimistic, and it's good to care about Andrew Yang and universal basic income, but you have to understand, like, the expectations were just enormous. Like, the pressure on Andrew, he could feel it in the last debate, especially after Iowa. You promised to shock everyone. And you did a good job. I mean, you did good. You almost got a delegate, which then would allow you to go on to, and you made a debate. I mean, how many people don't make a debate and then make the debate next time? I don't think it's that many, especially this late on. So Andrew Yang did fantastic, but the expectations were to the moon. And it's like, guys, I know you're optimistic and you're... So that's the problem. If I had to summarize it, it would be that it's almost like a business. So let's say we have a small business and we're doing well, we're paying our employees, we're paying our kids, and then an investor comes in and they want us to, they want to invest in our company and make ourselves like worth a ton of money. Well, to justify the valuation, we have to probably lie, steal. I mean, look at all the companies that have done this, where investors have poured money into. Look at WeWork. W-E work. It's on the news all the time. They were valued at, I think, $49 billion, and it turned out that they were actually worth less than $8 billion because they lied about stuff. The CEO was paying himself for places that he bought and then would rent out to WeWork. The CEO paid $100 for a trademark and then sold it back to his own company for $4 million or $2 million, some crazy amount of money. Adam Newman. Or look at Enron, right? When the stocks wanted Enron to go up so people could get their bonuses, or Lehman Brothers. Like the reason I am so skeptical, I went to NYU. I graduated December 2008. I did a summer study abroad in China, and that's why I graduated half a year early, but I would have been class of 2009. I graduated a semester early. My friends had job offers from Lehman Brothers. They had internships when Lehman Brothers went under. They had internships with AIG and Merrill Lynch. I saw all these contracts. I saw all of these, my friends, who were bragged about how much money they were going to make at Lehman Brothers. In a blink of an eye, it was gone. And that is why I'm skeptical. I'm very pessimistic about most things in life because I think everything has a cost. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, "The only time cheese is free is in a mousetrap." Probably true, actually. So that's the reason we lost, was we did not manage expectations. Andrew did fantastic. For a candidate with no political experience and obviously a terrible campaigning structure around him, all I need to do is tell you that Ohio, Andrew's the only candidate who couldn't get himself on the ballot because no one caught a very simple thing that, honestly, it just still blows my mind, and it shows you how incompetent his team was. His marketing team, his advertising team, the people doing TV commercials, they were fired. They weren't hired by Bernie. Basically, they're leftovers. Never hire a leftover because at the end of the day, there's a reason Bernie wanted to do things. If they did such a fantastic job for Bernie, then he would have hired him again. Run it back. But he didn't. That should have been a sign. So the truth is, all this fluff and all this love and optimism, that's what happened. When in fact, he actually did really, really well. Even in New Hampshire, 8th place is not something bad. I mean, you're fighting against billionaires and the DNC itself. Why would we not be super happy about? And in Iowa, he outperformed in Iowa. But when you set such a high standard, when your standard is to win, it's almost like your favorite sports team are the Cleveland Browns. If you watch the NFL, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They signed a Odell Beckham Jr. They have a very good Myles Garrett, very good defense. They have a new coach, Freddie Kitchens. They have a really good QB, Baker Mayfield, supposedly good QB. And they collapse because they said Super Bowl or bust. They didn't even make the playoffs. They actually finished as one of the worst teams They didn't even break even. So when your expectations are the moon and you just get to space, that's not bad. You got to space. I mean, no one expected you to get into space. Now come back home and try it again. The reason I did not want to make this video was all my other videos, it seems like I'm blaming the Yang Gang for being positive, which is not true. What I'm blaming, if there is blame to place, and there's plenty to go around, and I'll accept some too. I didn't make the TV commercial I promised, because honestly, those things take hundreds of hours and tens of thousands of dollars. It's a TV commercial. There's plenty of blame to go around, but if I had to pinpoint one reason we failed, you got to get to space before you go to the moon. Bye.